hello there. Really feel like I forgot something this time. Look at this. Look at this. It's doing it again. Hi, I'm Scott, by the way. I already streamed today, and we worked on the bot, and then I thought I was going to play that game, Slay the Spire, and then I decided to do something else instead because I was hit with some inspiration, but only like a little bit of inspiration, not the full inspiration. Because there's been all these like, excuse me, pardon me for hitting the microphone, all these like separate threads of things we've been working on, and hadn't quite put them all together. I still haven't fully put them all together, but as far as like some Raspberry Pi streaming stuff and some MongoDB stuff and some other various things I'm working on, like got all these things in my head, some of which have to remain separate because they'll be separate projects for clients or whatever. But something I think I want to do, and I had started this once upon a time and got irritated with it, but general idea is to have some ability with a Raspberry Pi to stream something kind of to itself and then connect to it as an RTMP source in OBS, for example. And I think I might do some weird art project where there's a Raspberry Pi with some sensors and it's logging that stuff to a Mongo database that's on board and then streams whatever goes on, like in its own internal world somehow. I kind of did projects like this once upon a time with Heimdallr and the Argus, and I kind of can imagine something in this realm. So I don't know. I'm gonna at least start on it a little bit because some of this stuff I need to do anyway, and was gonna do it tomorrow, and then remembered that tomorrow's my birthday, and maybe I won't go into PNCA tomorrow. So, is the music too loud now? I feel like the music's too loud. Just this song? Turn it down slightly. Okay, so let's go figure some stuff out. Unfortunately, and this is just an annoying thing, the Nginx RTMP module is not available in apt on the Raspberry Pi, at least as far as I could tell. Who knows, maybe I did something wrong. I think I installed some of this stuff already. It won't be too, whatever, we'll just compile it. It'll just take a little while because that machine is not a fast machine. I think I already did all this stuff. And then I did see a trick that some people were saying, which is to like install Nginx and then remove Nginx on the Pi so that you can take advantage of its build scripts. So, I mean, it's init scripts. So I have those init scripts because I installed and removed. Very clever. Okay, so we're just going to go through the instructions provided by this. So this is just going to make a build folder in our home directory. We will then clone the RTMP module. We will then download the latest wget, I'm sorry, with wget, the latest Nginx, which I guess I'll do stable and not mainline. 14.2, almost what's there, okay. Get this thing. What? Oh, because I sudoed that, so to sudo all this. They're sudoing everything. I got it. I got it. That's a little weird. So sudo, did that put me in, oops, in my home? Interesting choice. Okay, that's fine. It's just a little weird to do this where you have to do sudo every time. Why not just like sudo bash? Okay, untar, great. We'll just use their configuration options because I don't really have any other, oops, needs. And then we'll make install, and it's gonna be terrific. It's gonna be terrific. Is all that bot stuff working still? Yes. I feel like that's not transparent enough now. Well, maybe the text is technically stopping before it goes into that. Okay. That could be a little more transparent. Probably. Okay. that seemed to work. Now we will sudo make. This seems weird. Why sudo all this stuff? This makes no sense at all. Why does any of this need to be done as root? I mean, this obviously does, but this, why? You could get all this as your normal user. The only thing that has to be sudo is make install. Weird choices. RTMP wiki documentation. But okay, now we'll wait for this to install. This used to be a big piece of my life, was like waiting for things to compile. And then I decided I didn't want to do that anymore, but here we are again. Which is especially not cool on a Raspberry Pi, because that machine is just not super robust. Okay, then we will do what? Is this where I need to be looking? It's not in etc. I don't know where this all ended up in user local. We didn't configure it that way. Is that really where that's going to end up? It's not Slang Spires. I know. I messed up. I blew it. It's kind of like Slang Spires. A little bit. It's not at all, actually. I couldn't even come up with a fake analogy. This is your fault, Binary. You caused this. But I do think I am going to do the thing. I am going to make them, even though this is annoying, I'll only do it once and then make an image, I guess. Just for these, I want these little autonomous Raspberry Pis that already do their thing, and you just RTMP connect to them. I looked at that. I looked at that very site, and I think it was pretty in line with this. I mean, this is straight from the author of the module. Kind of dumb that there's not a package for that. There's a bunch of other, an apt. Did you make your game? Is it finished? How much is it? Are there microtransactions? Thank you for the alert to let me know that you made your. I mean, it looks like this documentation basically just stole from the official documentation for the module, except this person was smart enough to realize that you didn't have to prefix every single thing with sudo. I don't know why they did that. Like, why do you need to untar with sudo? None of this needs sudo. None of this needs sudo. Zero of this needs sudo. But that's what I get for copying and pasting. Now, this is their server. That's very tiny. This one's kind of cool though, because this one like adds a bunch of weird status stuff. It looks like where you can get RTMP statistics. It's kind of cool, right? I don't really care about that, but it's interesting. SU root. I don't think I can SU. I don't think I have a password. I guess I could. I mean, Raspberry Pi by default. I don't know if there is root password. I could SU password, but that's bad practice. Like, you shouldn't do any of this as root. Like, you shouldn't do anything as root until make install. I mean, that would be my opinion about this particular little workflow. Is like, none of this should be root. This should all be regular user, and then only right here when you're like, okay, now it's time. Let's root it up. Okay, and then because I used, what's its face? Is that how it works? Okay, so I don't really want to use all this. Thank you for the link. I will steal this. Tiny little thing. Extremely basic configuration with a live application that simply forwards the RTMP stream onto whoever requests. I mean, that's all I want, really, right? Like, if I connect to the server, I could get what I want. Otherwise, if I do live, That's really all I need, right? Sudo su root. Yeah. I could also just sudo bash, but then I guess I wouldn't be me anymore. Still don't like it. Okay, now presumably I have a thing. And then what else does this say to use? I think this had some FFmpeg examples. Do I have? I don't know if I need to install that. Oh, that's going to take forever, isn't it? I guess not. Oops. As long as I don't have to compile anything. I just regular old FFmpeg? I don't need anything else. Ugh. Port 1935. Is it open? I would assume so. I mean, I haven't done anything to this Pi that would make me think that I would not have it open. Right? This is kind of cool though. I like, this is interesting that you can do this thing and then have the that stats thing. Oh, that stuff's kind of cool. Handlers. But I don't need any of that for this simple stuff. So what I was thinking of doing, okay, so here's the picture. I've been thinking about that Mongo project. I've also been thinking, I've got an invisible technology workshop coming up in a month. And so I want to make some weird thing that is just some kind of sculpture, and it will perceive the world in some way, and then live stream that perception always, I think. I don't exactly know what that means, but I think that's the general idea. And so then that will let me have some kind of weird invisible technology project, and it will let me play with Raspberry Pi streaming, and it will let me do a Mongo-based project. So we can wrap all those things into one. And it will help me, like this general idea I also want to use for these little autonomous, I mean, at that point, they're almost going to be like little IP cameras with Raspberry Pi, right? So it's going to be a Raspberry Pi with a, what's its face? Logitech C922, point one at the laser cutter, point one at whatever. I think that's about the cheapest way I could do that. I could probably get a cheaper camera. I just still have yet to discover what I think is the best USB industrial camera, because I haven't found one that just seems like, oh, this is the best reviewed. I mean, we looked at this once before. And we found these things, but like the reviews are all bad. Yeah, I like the Pi because then there's more to do. I could just get IP cameras, that's true. But yeah, the Pi is nice because then we could do other weird things with it. And there's a bunch of Raspberry Pis already at the lab. Like this thing, 50mm. For sculpture or interpret. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was the, that was where I started when I started this project. The original concept of this was like, oh, well, I'm interested in making like weird robots that don't exist for humans. They exist just to do whatever they want. And I bought so many sensors and did like weird little sensor experiment sculptures. But in the end, I decided to just make 2 sculptures with one overall sense for each of them. But yeah, the original idea was what I'm streaming, Jacqueline, we're doing it. I'm streaming, this is new, this is all new. This is new me. This isn't, I'm in Makers and Craft or whatever it is. I'm done with science and tech today. Yeah, so one thought would be to just do a thing that had sensors all over it. That was kind of the early idea for these 2 guys. Like this is Argus, because in Greek mythology, the Argus is the many-eyed creature that Hera gets to guard Io. Maybe I got that backwards, but then Hermes puts the Argus to sleep so that Zeus can sleep with Io. I might be forgetting that. And then this is Heimdallr, and Heimdallr is from Norse mythology, and his job is to sound his Gjallar horn to signal Ragnarok. And so he's always waiting and listening at the Rainbow Bridge, Bifrost Bridge. And Wait, why didn't that alert work? Oh, because you put a period after the alert. It didn't parse because I parsed by split. I split by spaces. No, well, that's kind of my fault because previously I had written it in such a way that it would just make sure that it started with something, but now it like tries to discreetly figure out the commands. Anyway, Heimdaller's hearing was so sensitive that he could hear the grass grow, and so this one was about hearing, and this one was about seeing. So this hears Wi-Fi signals basically, and this one sees. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. One of the weird things I was thinking of doing something where we just use like some Amazon web service. You put the sculpture there and it's all ears and it just listens to people talking and then real time transcribes that text to words and then does something weird with the words. I don't know. I wish there was like one of these cameras that was just the perfect camera. This one seems not horrible. Prime eligible. All these fancy lenses. 12 millimeters way too wide though. I wouldn't want that. I'd want like black and white lens. What does that even mean? It's also hard to know. Oh, there's only 4 reviews, so that's not very trustworthy. Anyway, yes, we have installed FFmpeg. So, is there a way to like FFmpeg text? Like, I want to stream a text file. Is that a thing? Or like stream an image. I just don't have anything on this machine or on this Raspberry Pi. I just need something to stream. I guess I could stream a solid color. Something like this, and then just cram on the end of it all this stuff. I do not know FFmpeg very well. I don't have a spare camera to plug in this at the moment. And I guess I could grab some test MPEG-4. I do this. And then oh, I meant to paste. Not a thing you can do. Oh, did I need to do this first? Like, I assumed that was the output, but is it the input? Okay. Why didn't that work? Oh, well, this is because it's all wrong, because this was called live, right? Is that not what I called it? Oh, thank you for the bunny. Forgot about you, Buck Bunny. What did we do? Didn't we do... Did I not restart the Nginx server? after doing the updates. Oh. We're not serving anything there, are we? Oh, it's not. It's hot. Did I edit the right file? I just assumed that was the this. No, that's not the right file at all. Or maybe I'm just missing the F. Local nginx conf nginx.conf. That's not the version. Oh, maybe I forgot to. I installed a version of nginx. What is it called? Full? Okay, but I don't. I wanted to keep some stuff. I hope it didn't just remove a bunch of dependencies. Oh well. Okay. I was being ridiculous. I meant to do the thing. I'd seen some advice somewhere to like install it and uninstall it to leave the leave configuration files, but we still have all these. But seemingly that didn't work, but whatever. That's fine. We'll just run the do this. No events section in configuration. Do I need an events section in configuration? Does that actually matter? Do I have to have that? This one had an event. Actually, where's the one? Not this one. Wait, did I lose the documentation? Let's look at the one. Maybe we have to have an events. Just stick this in there. Oops. Good grief. Ah, weird keyboard mappings. Up arrow, not happy. Is that what we want? Weird. Good grief. Why did it, like, background? Are you running? Okay, it's already in use. Okay, so it's running. Kind of weird that it started with no message. Okay. Now this? Okay. So we are now should be streaming. Oh, why was there a limit to that? That's weird. Maybe D is duration. What if I don't do that? Slash live slash something? Not just live? Nano? I'm not gonna use Nano. Are you kidding me? I should install them so I can actually use them and not just V. I need to use Nano. Outrageous. First of all, I would use Pico, but no, I would die. I don't know why. There was just some weird. I don't know if it's like, oh, it might be a British keyboard thing or something. Oh, multiple things. Well, but I'm only gonna have like be streaming locally in this case. But yeah, I know what you mean. If I was gonna have multiple things, but in this case, it's gonna just stream to itself, and then I'm gonna add a media source in OBS, and then that will be. Does that by default? Does what by default? Oh, really? Even though this said this? Like I have to put a thing at the end of it? Okay. So I have to put a thing here? That's what you mean. Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I thought you meant in here. Well, yeah, I just have to put a thing there. Got it. And now when I want to view that thing, do I have to view it at slash whatever my key is? Like, yeah. So this would be like a open URL, open network stream, and it would be like haunt.local. But can I just do RTMP here? Or will it be a different, is this RTMP or no? Yeah, okay. Then I don't have to have the port, right? Nailed it. It doesn't seem happy. Why is it not happy? We're struggling here. Okay, great. There's our solid white. Why'd that take so long? That was kind of weird. Maybe it had to like figure out the format or something. Okay, so I wonder if it's smart enough to like recover. If, for example, I had this stream up, surely not. No, if I kill it, I probably have to reconnect, right? So like if this was not white, I'm just gonna make the assumption that I can type red here. Now, is this gonna recover? Maybe if I pause, can't pause. Unpausable. This seems very unhappy now. OBS recovers. OBS is asking for an input format. Do I really need that? Do I have to wait? I'm supposed to, I put live here also? I just realized. I thought it could just work like this. You need it. Okay. Is it going to figure things out without an input format? RTMP hot local live pi. Edit transform. Seems unhappy with, oh, wait, there it is, cool. Okay, so now we have a weird blob, a big red blob from the Raspberry Pi, just like we always wanted. It's like a dream come true. I don't know where to put it. Just set it down here with me. Oh, just snap to something. Just, oh, forget it. Get over it. I don't know where to put it. And it looks great there. Why does that sometimes work or sometimes not? The keyboard shortcut sometimes when it happens. Just start streaming all over the place. Yeah. So what I want to do, this is something I tried to do before, and I did not succeed well. So I wanted to have like a headless node instance or something that used some kind of headless browser and then just drew to an image, and then that's what got streamed. And then to update the stream, I would just update that image, if that makes sense. And it never quite worked the way I wanted to. So basically I could have a node script running and it would dump out. Yeah, it wasn't great. And I don't necessarily need the frame rate to be spectacular, because one thing, another option would be to output like that image and composite it on top of something that was moving in like some weird animated shader background or something. Phantom.js, I don't think I've used that. I tried something along these lines like a year ago and it just was not great. Oh, maybe this is what I used. Yeah, so to like capture the canvas, I think that maybe this is actually what I used. And I could not get it to work very well. Well, what I was kind of imagining is maybe maybe I could have some interesting background. Yeah, just for testing, sure. Some interesting background with a shader or something that's always animating so something's moving it. And then this drawing would just be relatively rare, you know, like periodic kind of thing. Yeah, but I think you're right. It's more to like run a test and capture one image and then send that out. And I had seen something that was like a trick, like streaming to what's that called on Linux? Like streaming to a file descriptor. Not that. It was like a way to stream with FFmpeg an image. Yeah, this continuously stream refreshing image, and the idea. Well, they're not. They're just straight up doing it just with an image. So the thing that I had seen was some fancy thing where you're like writing to some. Oh yeah. Because then on the node side, you could just like stream to some file descriptor, and then it would automatically show up here. Because that was, I think, a problem, was the ability to update it and stream. And in fact, what it said was to like draw to one. Maybe that's actually what it was. Like draw to one and then copy over this, so that you didn't end up with some weird instance where you're trying to like stream it while it was in the middle of a write. Yeah. To leave for sure. So the idea would be to leave. I mean, essentially this. It would just be a local file. But I feel like for some reason I was like trying to come up with a weirder way. So if we had like test bars 1080 something. I just want an image. Perfect. No, I want that literal image. Well, okay, we'll take the 1280 721, sure. Because we would want to do something like, oh, I don't know. I would prefer that wasn't a JPEG. This doesn't really matter. PNG would be faster overall because then you could install image magic on this, I guess. That's a lot of files. We get some ultra nutty pecan bars. I should have used this as my reference for that.
The following HDNet test bed.
I mean, in general, the thing we want is some image we can update with whatever content we want. I would like some background. Is there some way to just run an arbitrary shader? Like just generate some animated shader background? I could also just have some little video loop and then composite on top of it. Awesome FFmpeg. Okay, so let's convert. Okay, so if this is always this, I do ffmpeg image 2 loop 1, and the input is actually, wait, what did I do? Yeah, that's what I wanted. Dang it. ffmpeg dash f image 2 loop 1 dash loop 1. Input will be the output, and this is going to go as an FLV to RTMP localhost live pi. That's cool. OBS recovered really quickly. Nice. Good job, OBS. Here's the thing though. So what I want to do, is like okay, let's test this quickly. We just need 1080p PNG. Whatever, doesn't matter. Just whatever. Give me a nice image. That is exactly. Well, no. 1280 720 is what the other one was, wasn't it? Anything you say, Google, whatever it's going to be. You made interesting choices. Doesn't really look 1280. This thing's lying to me. California rivers flowing into the ocean. Terrific. Copy image address. I wanted it to be a PNG, but that's okay. So if I copy this on top of output, will it automatically, magically, without breaking anything, work? Terminus doesn't know how to do split. I hate all Windows terminal emulators, apparently. There's no way to split this? Can Terminus not split? A terminal multiplexer? Like in the screen? Oh, Tmux, yeah. That's true. I could do that. I mean, it's just not, I feel like it's a not crazy thing in the modern world to want the ability to easily split and dock and tear around your terminals. On the front end. Okay, I'm doing this, and it worked. And now I can, any hiccups here? Everything seems good. Wonder why the bit rate is so... Whoa, is that because that's all I'm asking for? Or is there some, actual reason? I'm only doing 6 frames per second. Is that because of something in my command? I know FFmpeg has more command line arguments than I could almost any other thing I can even imagine. I know I'm not it's not my favorite. It's not really my favorite thing. I feel like anytime I use FFmpeg, there's so much effort to just even start to speak the language a little bit. But it's pretty weird because frames per second is 6.6, whereas here it seems like it wants to be 25. 6.6, is that because it's struggling in some way, or any sense? It's all local. Well, FFmpeg is using 155% of the CPU, so that doesn't sound good, right? Why is that so heavy? They don't really specify. Let's see. Ultra fast. Okay, cool. I will steal that. Now I'm getting 4 frames per second instead of 6. Are we still working here? Now I'm using 182%. Are we not happy anymore? Did I accidentally copy over the pattern or something? What's the matter? Oh, I wonder if the codec changing made OBS angry. What did it default to before? H.264 there, because that's what we just told it, and up here was just FLV. Seems unhappy with this. Seemed happier with whatever the default codec was for that format. I'll try a preset though. Faster bitrate. How did I murder my Oh, I see. Gonna come back? We're coming back? I'm totally unhappy now. What is this text? Oh. How is it? How have I fully destroyed it now? Oh, there it is. Why would that take so long sometimes? How did I lose it? Why so angry? Okay, let's look and see what old image2 has. Image2 has for us. What? Local live pi. I did string to pi, right? Yeah. Why did it take so long? Maybe if I put the format in, like OBS knew what the input format was. So ffmpeg's demuxer type. I mean, mode file. Okay, maybe it just negotiates it in some way, but I kind of have a feeling that that's what makes it slow, is trying to negotiate. So it defaults to 25 FPS, which for a static image makes no sense, but sure. Here's all the demuxers. FLV or live FLV. Would it help if I put that as the input format? I forgot how to view the log files. But then it eventually works. Maybe? I don't know. I also was wondering if it was some kind of like buffer setting where it had to like buffer up to a certain amount by default. That's what it was. I don't know if that makes any sense. Seems weird that it takes so long though. I mean, it took a while here too. Yeah. I mean, I could definitely do that this way. It just, you know, like we talked about, I just got paranoid about having things always streaming that I wasn't necessarily viewing on the network at PNCA. Another thing I kind of like about this is that you could just, anybody could view and connect to this thing. Look at that resolution. Ooh. Why is it so beautiful? It's because my bitrate's so low? Yeah. Yeah, I got you. So Nginx runs on the local machine, and then, I mean, I guess I could do that. What's a way to, on Windows? Is there some Windows RTMP server? Maybe I could run it from WSL. I mean, there's probably just some pre-existing. I had some standalone one on my Mac at one point. Easily and fast.
Hello,
I don't
everybody.
want a video for this. Thanks, Wikipedia. I don't know what I used. I used some. It was just like some standalone Mac app that did it. I mean, lots of people talk about doing Pi stuff, but I wonder if that's really what the overhead is. Like this bit rate is not. Yeah, if I do it this way, I mean, maybe this just isn't a great way to do it. Tune 0 latency. Bit rate. Assume that's what B is. Well, what are some other examples? Where's the this thing? What do we have here? And they never specify a bitrate here because presumably the bitrate's coming from the file. Although if you're doing a webcam, you would assume, I wonder what AN is. Is that like no audio? Still set on every Pi being its own server? Not necessarily. I mean, there could be some other way to do it. It just seemed like a thing that could be cool in other contexts also. I mean, just other, you know, anybody could connect to that with whatever software they wanted to for whatever reason. But maybe that is not great. What does AN mean? Oh, that's going to change my... Yeah. No audio, I think. Well... So weird. Only 4 frames per second. This is a... Yeah, this is Raspberry Pi 3. I think it would be able to do something. Does that look better? We lost her feed. Okay, that looks much nicer. And this did recover, but OBS didn't? Why didn't OBS recover? No way to view stats in here. Yeah, 922. So that's about what we're sending. So that's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's all weird. This says 5 frames per second, but on this end it's at least acting like it's 10 frames per second. My pie gonna catch on fire? It's very warm. I don't have a heat sink on the processor. It's not like, not totally burn your finger hot, but it's toasty. The toasty thing to put it in the refrigerator. Maybe you want a little heat sink on it. Let's see. I don't actually know. Hardware acceleration. Oh, this encoder? Oh man, I have to recompile FFmpeg. Yeah, non-free thing. Man. Annoying. It's like a pain in the butt. Add hardware acceleration FFmpeg. What does that mean? That's very descriptive. Yeah, Pi, where you'd already done the work. Although this implies in this October 2018 update that hardware acceleration added to FFmpeg, so it's not very descriptive. I mean, is it truly just using this encoder? Great. Very useful. Great. Well, these sites are offline. How am I going to do anything if like Stack Exchange and related sites are down for maintenance? I'll never be able to accomplish anything. That's not how you spell words. Well, the bit rate's worse and the frame rate, it seems improved slightly. And it's streaming. Okay, that showed up in OBS. Showed up here. Assuming this is the live stream. I'm still using 168% of my CPU. Well, I didn't specify all commands, I guess, so. Or everything else that was in there. buffer size and all these fun things. That's true. Get my buddy Buck Bunny. Might be easier to tell. Okay, so why does that not, man, this is not a good terminal. I hate it. Why is all this stuff left here? I mean, it's okay. Terminus, you're okay, but could be better. That's what it already was, I think. But... oh, that's a video filter. Okay. I don't think we really need it. I'm just guessing on stuff. Wait, what was that? What did I have before? Some of these things, I guess, seem to not work for static image. Well, we're 8 frames per second now. I don't know if I actually really changed anything from one run to this one. Alright, we got Buck Bunny. We're 68%. Let's just copy all this stuff. Oh, the audio code? Oh, let's just do no audio. It's gonna turn into a bunny now? Goober, how's it going? Binary C, I'm making a complicated way for Binary C to watch Buck Bunny. It doesn't seem like it's working. Although this is, well, no, it just never happened. Can we loop it? Can we just loop Buck Bunny? Maybe that's for the, maybe you can only do that with the image demuxer. Oh no, maybe it'll work. I'm messing with some live streaming Raspberry Pi stuff. It's not working very well. Did I stream that to the right place? Let me double check that. Localhost Live Pi, is that what we've always been streaming to? Localhost Live Pi? Yeah. Like, is the buffer larger? Well, maybe we just need to redo this because maybe I like changed something that has caused it to explode. Is this what happened every time you invited someone to watch a movie? Hey, look, Buck Bunny. No, it didn't loop for whatever reason. So bitrate is like 200, not so great, but this was a tiny movie. And 230% CPU. I don't know. Kind of feels like that is, I don't know. I don't know about this hardware, but it doesn't really seem like that's hardware accelerated unless there's some other thing happening, like maybe the Engine X step is doing something, although the thing that is spiking the CPU looks like FFmpeg, not Engine X, so I mean, I guess I could stream from OBS to that and then view it and just like separate the RTMP server, like get my laptop and stream from OBS to this Engine X, just to see what the overhead is like as it has a stream streaming through it. Stream from VLC. I have to download Buck Bunny all over again. Do I look like I'm made of storage? Buck Bunny all over the place. I'm gonna get Buck Bunny on HD Blu-ray. I don't even know what we were doing here. There's weird stuff on my OBS not apps. Oh, it's all from that workshop. Okay. Let's make a new profile. RTMP, fonts out local, stream key I guess is just pi. What are these settings saying? Oh, because they are. Okay. Oh yeah, that's what I need. Yes. I kind of want to do that with get something set up with some weird shaders and feedback. This is all your fault for luring me into this. There is something to I just want like a Raspberry Pi that can stream something very simple. Just stream that image. Like, it just seems like it shouldn't be that heavy, but maybe FFmpeg's not the way to go. Maybe there's some other things. Lots of people look like they're using GStreamer, which is, isn't that built on FFmpeg? I don't know. Did I not stream to the right place? Okay. So this is from my laptop. Nginx, not too bad. It doesn't seem like there's very much overhead from the Nginx stuff. Why did I stream 2Pi from the laptop? Because the because my media source was already set up in OBS. But you're right, it could be something different. Why do these media sources take so long to decide what they are? Oh, I think that one was confused because I had explicitly said to use. I know I could have written anything, but then I had to go change it on the. But it's fine. I had to change it anyway because I had explicitly said the media source there. So I'm gonna say that makes me feel like the impact of Nginx feels pretty minimal here. Like the FFmpeg encode is what feels heavy. A portable stream mixer so I can walk around my house. I could go to the bathroom. CRTMP server. We use an FFmpeg. This is killing me. Stack Exchange being offline? Why is Stack Exchange offline? Why? I'm not gonna be able to do anything. It's killing me. And Google's like not letting me view the cache. Is that under here? Oh. Do I need to do something here, actually, now that I remember? Like, to enable hardware acceleration? I'm vaguely remembering that that was a Raspberry Pi setting. You think it'll just take the day off? What, just to wait for Buck Bunny? Look at this thing. Quite a command. Wait. Oh, send me this. Pardon me for one moment. Excuse me, please. Okay, sorry about that. What? Good grief. Well, that copies the codec, so it's not re-encoding. So it looks like in this case, FFmpeg is not re-encoding. So what is raspivid? Oh, that's for the camera module. So this is maybe not useful. If this thing is already smart enough to be hardware encoding, and then it's just the video codec's just copied here. Oh, interesting. YouTube has to have audio. You know, that's one thing though, because I've looked at one of the things you can do with that Raspberry Pi module. Like this is for a webcam, but that camera module doesn't just have to be the camera. You can get a you can get a little dude. I don't know what you call it. This thing, CSI, is that what it is? Yeah, where you can go HDMI into that. Which that's kind of interesting, if you could hardware encode whatever you plugged in with HDMI. But still... That's just where we were. Yeah. Because that's only because raspivid is seemingly using the hardware encode, so... Oh, weird. So all of their problems was re-encoding the audio? But I said AN, so I should have had no audio. Right? I want to go back. Go back to simpler times. Oh, well, they're doing vcodec. No, let's see. Vcodec, it's misspelled. We had audio none. FLV. Just not even mess with the bitrate at this moment. Oh, I'm already streaming from this because I'm streaming to the same endpoint. Why would I do that? Why would I stream to Pi from my laptop? What an insane thing to do. Why is this suddenly advancing the terminal every... Cool. Let's see if there is... I like vaguely remember some kind of hardware acceleration thing. That's just the GL driver, I guess, not the Well, kind of sucks. I don't know, man. It was a weird one. Like, well, now that it's doing this, it's extra hard to tell if it's like actually listening to me. Is this what, are these the flags we were compiled with? OMX Broadcom video encode. Let's just try it. Let's try with Buck, I guess. Why? Quite sure how to proceed. I mean, technically works, I guess. Very slow. Audio none. Well, that person says it's good, so I have to trust that person. Well, lame. This isn't very cool. I mean, yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. You ready for my solution? I think you're gonna like it. It's a pretty good solution. Check that solution. Now my frames per second is fractional. Why? Wait. Why did that get so much worse? I feel like that hardware thing is not doing me any favors. .9 when I put in 30, but when I specifically say I want a frame rate, just give me a third of that, or 3 times. It's like the frames per second doesn't. Even at a really low bit rate. Six thousand frames per second. Oh, actually, well, FPS frame rate. I wonder if that's in milliseconds and not in frames per second. That would seem weird. Read input at native frame rate. Well, that's not a thing. I don't want that. I just stole that from somewhere. Okay, with that video codec, which we seem to be using here, with that encoder, we're at 167. And if I don't do that, which maybe it defaults to it, FLV encoding, and then 150s. So it's like less performant when we're trying to use all these low frame rates, everybody. I mean, I'm not like overly concerned about the quality and frame rate. I guess the thing that just blows me away is the CPU usage. Pardon me. Could start with a smaller image. Doesn't seem crazy though. Am I like remembering how to read top incorrectly? That's right, right? Okay, so let's try it. Whoops. Frame rate 1. Okay. That's more like it. So saying frame rate run and then forcing it to do that. We are now at a fractional CPU usage. Is that still with the... So that's without the hardware encode. So now can we try the hardware encoder again? This thing? I mean, this is 1 frame per second, so... But that maybe that's enough for what I want to do. I don't know. So I still don't know exactly what it is I want to do. What just happened? Why did I only get half of that? Where's the rest of my paste? I forgot what the codec was called. Okay, I need this, but without a line feed, please. Well, we're at 27% usage, which is better than we have been. Really curious about that. Uh-oh, why did my bitrate go down? Backways? No? Gonna happen soon. Maybe Backways is running on this machine. Why are there binoculars? What does binoculars mean? My Mac had suspicious binoculars on it. Okay, well, what are we doing here? This is not what we should be seeing. Did I break the actual stream? Why does this take so long? Maybe it's some setting in our Nginx config. Didn't I put his thing? Like, I don't remember. Some buffer size parameter or something in the Nginx config? I can't remember. I can't remember. Maybe this is a little too annoying and we just get some IP cameras. Wait, this isn't working. Tuning to pi still, right? Did I really change much of anything? I don't think so. Look at that, $25. And it works with Alexa. You think these just like automatically have RTMP support? Yeah. Yeah. I think that would even be published in the... Oh, fancy things. I feel like something is just not as it should be. In terms of the CPU usage here, to stream an image at 1 frame per second seems like not right. Why did it never show up over here? OBS has not figured out how to talk to this particular stream yet. So if we look at this, well, I don't really feel successful here. Let's try this. Just want to see if there's any difference. If I still have this installed. This one? Yeah, this little thing. Let's see. Tiny little Mac cartoon piece here. I just want to see if it's any different. I believe you're right, but just like slight bit of due diligence just to see if there's any difference. I don't think there will be. Is this gonna work? It's gonna let me do this. This I just made up website. If I have to use the stream key. And now, can we talk to vesper.local? What if I have to use the stream key that they assigned in this little dude? Doesn't really seem happy. Somehow this makes the CPU usage even worse. Wait, why did that suddenly work? When I stopped, when I killed it, it started to work? What? Okay, anyway. Lame. I wish I had a Raspberry Pi camera module to test with, just to see if that hardware encoding stuff was any different. Oops. I mean, I feel like we looked at all of these things. Make sure you have a few cups of coffee. It might take a while. Enable OMX RPi. But this is all prior to that release. I mean, I think there's a free thing now. These are always good streams when it's just me Googling. Oh, they're watching Buck Bunny. Why hasn't there been a new thing in that realm? Wasn't Buck Bunny like a big deal because it was all open source created, made in Blender and everything? Is that true? I have less FPS in my Pi. Oh no! Oh no! Who did it? It's probably this computer. Who is Backblaze kicking on? Backblaze has like zero network respect. Zero network respect. Wi-Fi network blacklist. 11 gig per day. Automatic threading throttle, manual throttle, like it just doesn't. Woof. Okay, hopefully we're back. Thank you for the alert. I know you're missing my riveting Googling because Backblaze took me down. Well, shucks. Oops. It's the thing. That's what we used. What did you just do? What did you just do? Oh, wow. Beautiful. Now they're all spheres. You can do mesh instancing on that. You can render those all day. Need more spheres. Hey, Stephen Wood. Already looked at this one, right? Decoder side. Can this run on a Raspberry Pi Zero? It seems heavy. I don't know, maybe I just have maybe my expectations are all wrong for this. Do I have all wrong expectations? Oops. Running 0.1 frames per second. Well, do you have mesh instancing on whatever shader you're, or on the material you're using to draw those? If they're all the same, they can be instanced. Those probably don't need like lighting on those things. You could change the clipping plane on your camera to not even draw far away ones. And yeah, you could do a thing where you faded by distance in the shader. Why does this thing never come back? Come back, media source. Oh, it's looking at the wrong place. Well, this has me reconsidering some things. Yeah. Just copy what's coming in. Which I guess, like at that point, okay, you want distance. We can have distance. Maybe you just don't need that much distance. Also, you can do level of detail stuff so that when they're far away, they're rendered at a lower level of detail. That's how a game would normally do that, probably. LOD stuff. Not just LOD in the textures, which you don't even have any yet, but like geometry LOD stuff. So no transcoding. That's fair. So kind of whatever comes in the camera is what you want to send out. I mean, this is kind of crazy. This person has 4 cameras on one Raspberry Pi and it's working. Oh, is it 4 core? Does it say that here? I guess if I'm 40%. I don't even remember how to tell that. Is that some like in like some dev thing? Like proc CPU something? Is that still a thing that exists? How do you do that? I can't remember. CPU info, that's what I was thinking of. Look at all those cores. That's true. I'm filling up most of 2 cores with FFmpeg, but I'm still, but that's fine. But why the 7 frames per second still? Doing things the worst way possible? That's fine. Start with the worst way and then, oh no, don't do that. What are you doing? Well, okay, sure. Just do that in your shader and then have, well, that's fine. That's fine. Start that way. Get your idea. Worry about optimization later. I just don't understand why the frame rate is represented in this way here. And it's hard to tell what the frame rate is on the real side. So here's the thing. So those, for the setup I want to do tomorrow, it's just going to be a webcam plugged in. And so if I can do that and have it basically like, well, the thing, or was it? Wait, where was the thing? Like if I could do this in copy, that would be great, but maybe I can't. It's fine, it's not that bad, but there's more efficient things you could do. But you're right. I guess I was, in my mind I was thinking it was 2 cores, but I think at one point we were over 200%, so that wouldn't be possible. Oops. Am I really getting 7 frames per second, or is that a lie? Can't really tell. I mean, the thing is, okay, here's the thing. There's 2 functions I want here. One is streaming a webcam, which if I can do that and not have to re-encode, like that's sort of what this person seems to be implying. I mean, it depends on where it's going, I guess. But if it's going to OBS, OBS doesn't care. OBS can probably decode anything you throw at it, because it's under the hood, it's all just FFmpeg. And then for the weird thing I want to do to just have a Pi stream to the internet, like I don't know that I necessarily care that it's 7 frames per second. Maybe there's some other way I could get data out. Yeah, so that's probably going to be fine for those like little autonomous dudes. I guess, I mean, this is if your camera supports H.264, right? Oh, that's handy. Yeah, I'll just have to play with that to stream. I might, who knows? I'm not in a big hurry to do this stuff. I'm kind of disappointed with what's going on over here, though. I want a Pi to be able to draw to FFmpeg in a reasonably fast way. I mean, maybe there's like, you know, the problem here could actually be image. You know, like it could be what we're encoding with is a problem. Like, what if there's a way to just draw text? You know what? What was the frame rate when we were just doing solid colors? I don't remember. Will I ever find that ever again? Yeah. So we're getting 20, and we said 25 for 640 by 480, RGB 24, solid white. What were our other formats? GIF. Animated ping. Oh yeah, I could do that. I used to have I don't have it set up on here where you could like, oh, what was it bound to? Like history search keys where you could hit page up. You could like start typing and then it would automatically search your history. I have that in some bash RC somewhere. JPEG. Vapor synth. Okay, but what is what is that? Virtual input device. Well, that's kind of cool. But that speed gain may just be because this is small. That's what we were. Yeah. And if we did that one with the hardware, will I ever remember what that thing is called? Probably not. You. We get 8 frames instead of 7. That showed up really fast. For whatever reason. Have a nice blue. Oh, 90 frames per second at 320 by 240. Incredible. What's the 16:9 equivalent to 640? Oh, 360. Well, we get 30 frames per second here, which is weird because this is 25 frames per second, but okay. If this was like do I need the RE first before? I thought it's 25 frames per second there, which seems weird. And that locks this as at 25. Might not, is that not where this actually goes? Maybe that's a thing. No. Cool. Love this. Well, this is defaulting to need to be out here. Or is that like as part of the output? I don't understand you. I mean, already makes it go for the input frame rate, which is great, but I want the input, I just want it to be 30. Is so much to ask? Can that be here? It just seems like it's not actually paying attention, because it's like this. Well, anyway, ignoring that for the moment, 640 by 40 or 640 360, pretty good. So going back to this realm, what was the image 2? Didn't it have like video size or something like that? Why? That's just because the images are too big? I'm just having to scale them, and that's slow. For the poor baby pie. Poor little pie baby. Where was our 1 frame per second example that we were... This is this one. So even with this at 1 frame per second, oops, not the Vesper. Might just make things worse. I have to scale the image. Just make the image smaller to begin with. Like. All right. It's not the right image though. Oh, there it goes. Even with a little image? Doesn't that seem really lame? Probably there's some other strategy here, like some other way to generate video. But maybe not. Maybe the way to do that, I mean, seems weird that that would work. Like, I'm imagining something where you have 2 pies and you just are like drawing stuff in real time on one screen, which is obviously not going to be this slow. And then you feed it into the HDMI adapter on the second Pi. I know, but like, So I guess that's what I'm trying to decide. Like, imagine I had two Pis, and then one of them uses the camera input with that HDMI adapter, and some people were saying they were getting like 8 frames per second encoding with that. I mean, sorry, 8% CPU usage encoding with that. Just taking what came in over the camera module and rebroadcasting it. And then if I could just come up with ways to draw stuff that came out over HDMI, not even in some weird way like this, but just like, it counts as making. I'm in making. We've got little things. This counts as making, right? I have little devices. They're hot. I could cook some food on them. I know. Normally I stream in science and tech. But since I'm working on some physical devices, I thought I would stream in Maker World. But then I got caught up in all this annoying video encoding part, which is not very exciting. Anyway, I guess what I'm just wondering, and maybe this doesn't make any sense, is to have some native way of outputting video, right? Instead of just trying to encode an image over and over again. Like, even if it's just X11, even if it's just a full screen web browser running on the Pi, doing some GL stuff or something, outputting. So then you'd have the hardware acceleration of OpenGL, right? And then output that over HDMI to a second Pi that would be encoding. Like, is that crazy? Look, here's one physical. You can see it. You can see it right here. It's part of the making process. This is a bummer. I mean, I don't know if that would be any better. Encode Unreal Machine. Maybe, but maybe... I mean, the Encode Unreal Machine, the nice thing would be to just have the Pis around. I'm really curious about that thing. I'm curious about the... Why can't I remember what that thing is called? Seat. What's it called? You know, that thing. CSI. So for 13 bucks, just take Dude, that's weird. Is that a strange tiny... Wait, what? Oh, that's extension. Seaside to HDMI extension module. Oh, I see. So this is HDMI input, and this is just a way to plug. Oh, that's kind of cool. No, that's Shadzar. I totally got it. I almost always stream in Makers and Crafting. I mean, in Science and Tech lately, but I will at some point. This project will shift into physical fabrication. So this is just the like beginning of this particular project, which is a little tech heavy. Like, to show you what it eventually ends up with, like, Shadzar eventually will be doing, like, oops, not that one. Get out of here. Go back there. I cannot click the right thing. I'm getting sleepy. We'll make something. We'll make some physical thing, and then hide all the technology inside it where no one can see. It's not quite to that point yet. Well, what I was hoping is that on the second Pi, looking at some of the examples with that RASP vid, it seemed like I mean, you know, this is all hearsay on the internet, whatever, but seemed like this was potentially performant. Where is the thing? Like, because then you're not transcoding at all. I saw that example of that somewhere. Yeah, where you're just copying the video that comes straight in from this. And that is presumably coming from the hardware of the camera module. Like, the camera module is providing what? Providing MPEG video? I don't know. These are guesses. These are absolutely guesses. But I don't know. 2.5 hours of guessing. This has been like a 2-hour stream of Googling. Which is kind of what I always feel like messing with Raspberry Pi is like. Which is why I feel like I've ranted about this before. Like the idea of the Raspberry Pi being like the friendly, cute little thing anybody can use. Like, it's fine, but it's still Linux. Like, are these kids, look, they all look kind of tired. Look how tired these kids look. All three of them look like they've been Googling for 4 hours. I think I'm in one of these books. I can't remember which one. For the beatbox. I mean, I guess, so yeah, so the thought would be like, one, just the idea of having a Raspberry Pi that just was some magical RTMP server that you'd plug in whatever HDMI source you'd want into it, I think is kind of cool. Because then you could plug phones into it, you could plug in game consoles, whatever. It's like you just plug something into this box and it becomes a tool to like an instant streaming platform. And I think that's kind of cool. And then it's just an issue of like, well, what do you plug into that thing? Is it another Raspberry Pi generating hardware accelerated output that comes straight out on the HDMI cable? And then some, oh, what if I did a weird loopback thing? Is that the secret? Is that the secret to all of this? To write some hardware accelerated thing that draws out to HDMI and then comes back through the camera cable? That sounds really silly, but not entirely insane, I guess, right? That seems like a theoretically possible thing to do. I need to get another Logitech webcam is a thing I do need to do. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it HDMI RTMP encoders. Yeah, I did see that. I did see some of those on Amazon. They weren't as cheap as a Pi would be. They seemed like $100 plus, $200. I mean, it would essentially be this, but a Raspberry Pi. So $35 and way more trouble to deal with. I mean, these are all over $150, it looks like. And the Pi would have Wi-Fi and all those things and could do other stuff. And, you know, I don't know. I'm not saying it's a great idea, but it seems like a possible idea. So in conclusion, I should have just played Slay the Spire, right? Is that the actual conclusion? Or would I have had better performance this whole time, just like installing with X11 and then just streaming a screen capture? Would that have been better? I don't know. Well, I'm angry. I mean, I'm not angry. Just slightly annoyed. I just thought I'd be able to like encode a video sequence at 15 frames per second. That doesn't seem too outrageous, does it? Maybe it is. Or maybe there's like 15 more arguments to FFmpeg that I could have done. This is one I'm getting too many of these. Like, I feel like the last month or so, most of March, in fact, I feel like my streams this month have been a lot of time, little bit of outcome. Maybe I need to get back to Unity or just start making some stuff. Yeah, that's true. The Nginx thing is pretty handy. And if I guess my hope is if the yeah, we get one of those, get the little RTMP dude, and then just get something plugged into it. Maybe a Logitech camera. Is that what you were doing? Is that what's on your Roomba? C920? Yeah. So if I can do what we just did with the C920 and have it perform reasonably well, then that would be fine. And then OBS could look at it as a source somewhere and squish them all together. It was still slightly annoying to get all this set up because unfortunately there just wasn't yeah, one or the other. I mean, I may do it both ways. I may still do it where yeah, I don't know. Not fully decided on this. I just don't know quite what the landscape of the like how we're gonna want to lay things out, because there's definitely different needs. But yes, I would like it where on the OBS shaders aren't scary. Where OBS where the machine with OBS on it is also an RTMP server. So that's all going on somewhere. And then I still may do the thing where the individual Raspberry Pis are. I'm not sure though. The auth. Yeah. Maybe I don't care about the auth. I mean, if it all has to end up being, I don't know that I'd want them to have direct ability to go straight to Twitch without maybe an administrator just has to switch the OBS input or something. I don't know. I don't know what it looks like yet. But I mean, the first thing is maybe just some little media library thing. Even that didn't seem like it performed super well though, unfortunately. Right? Like our playing of Buck Bunny. Did that not? Did that seem like it ran at a frame rate that was acceptable? I already forgot. Come back, Terminus. You also don't have to write shaders anymore. Life is yours. You can use the shader graph. Oh, did I delete Buck? What a travesty. Why would I do such a thing? No, I still have Buck, don't worry. I'm getting 500 frames per second with Buck Bunny. So that seems good. It gets mad when I do vcodec copy though. Oh yeah, the auto streamy thing. But I don't want to go straight to Twitch. I don't think. I think I want to still go through OBS because there's going to be, I don't want to be the administrator of this. I want to be here's OBS, it knows how to do a few things, and then have them, them being the administrators, not the students, the people who run the department, have some ability to control it. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Why is this running at 500 frames per second? They also have some Mac Minis around. Maybe all this just needs to happen on a Mac Mini. Why does Buck Bunny play at 500 frames per second, but an image plays at 1 frame a second? I mean, I guess that's very good news in terms of overhead. I mean, if we wanted this to be a media player. Try this. Oops. No, 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 no. What's your problem? Import shader graph. If you want to use the shader graph, you need you have to switch to a low definition render pipeline or high definition render pipeline and import the shader graph. I mean, that's definitely work. I don't know if are you to the stage where you're worried about what things look like? Maybe you should still focus on executing your MVP. Okay, so when we're playing my dude, Big Buck, and we're getting 500 frames per second, we're maxing out 2 cores. Isn't that weird? Why is that? Maybe that image module is inefficient. Maybe it's because I'm using PNGs instead of JPEG. You know, that's one thing I never tried. Maybe I'll try that. One last thing. Let's try it with a JPEG. I don't really, who knows? I would have kind of thought that a JPEG would be more expensive since it has to be decompressed, but 0.5 frames per second. Amazing. Oops. Yeah, not great. Well, at least we know we can watch Buck. This is a tiny version of Buck, though. Yeah. Maybe you could do a thing that's like a Pi that streams Buck Bunny and then has like some kind of captive portal, and it'll say like free Wi-Fi or whatever, and people will connect to it, but every web page they go to just do some weird proxy thing that forces them to watch Buck Bunny. Wait, okay, I want a little, let's take a moment. Like, remember that was kind of a big deal when Buck Bunny happened. I mean, just in terms of like, check it out. This is open source. But that was 2008. And still Buck Bunny's still the champion. See, also Tears of Steel, more recent. I don't know about that one. Is it all open source? Blender open movie projects. Man, I didn't know they were still doing these. Oh, the teapot? I don't know, the dawn of time? Yeah. Does it have its own Wikipedia article? 1975? That is kind of amazing. That's pretty funny. Is that might be like the most, yeah, like the most important. Important graphic, like artifact of the early CG era. Okay, I'm done for real. I'm done for real. Oh, the photo of the girl, the from the Playboy model. This one? Yeah, Lena. That's kind of weird that she's like the de facto. Lena? Oh yeah, Lena, not Lena, excuse me. Pardon me. I kind of forgot about that. Oh, this is cool. This like, this, wow, cool. Awesome. This is like standard test. Man or boy test. I don't know that I've run into that one. Is the Cornell box the one with the light at the top? Yeah, this one. Stand for bunny, stand for dragon. I don't know what are these for. Oh, I know these. That's pretty cool. Very exciting. Okay, we've got a history lesson. Okay, well this stream, man, I don't know. Last couple streams, I've just felt aimless. We were so focused working on heat. And then I thought I had a vision of something I want to do, but now I'm irritated by by encoding coding video on Raspberry Pi. Lame. Well, okay, here's the idea could still work, actually. The idea still works fine, because then the thing that you do, I guess, is that your sculpture is just the collector of the data, and then to do the Mongo thing, it stores it all in a MongoDB, and then a more performant computer is responsible for visualizing the data. That'd be one way to look at it. I guess maybe we could write software that just like dumped out already encoded video in some way. I don't know. Maybe that's insane. Anyway, I'm gonna think about it more. Thanks for hanging out on this very weird stream. We gotta get back to making something. That's the real deal. Okay, have a great night. Until next time.